and welcome to this session on Santa Ana Youth Arts Leaders at Boca de Oro 2021. My name is Sabrina Skeels, and I am Visual and Performing Arts Curriculum Specialist, K-12, for Santa Ana Unified School District. And I am here to share with you this amazing program that we've had for 2 years now in Santa Ana Unified, as well as sharing 2 incredible artists that we have from this program. As context for this session, we are providing a space and place for students to express their thoughts and feelings and opinions as professionals, and their work is truly their own. So please join us in honoring their voices in this forum of free creative expression. SAUSD Arts represents all arts disciplines, programs, educators, and students K-12 within Santa Ana Unified School District in Santa Ana, California. SAUSD is the second largest school district in Orange County and 10th largest in the state. We serve a diverse community passionate about the arts education, and student voice and choice. Our goals as SAUSD Arts for this youth advocacy program, college and career, community, and advocacy. One of the first things that we wanted to bring our students into in this experience was connections to college and career opportunities in the arts. We wanted them to know what futures they have available to them through an arts education. Also, we wanted them to connect to their community. We wanted our students to not only find a meaningful connection in their community through any practice that they choose, but also showing the intersectionalities in their artistic practice. And again, this is an advocacy opportunity to have students really find and grow their voice, articulating in new and challenging ways what art means to them. Through this experience in its inaugural year of 2019 to 2020, we were able to have our students engage in college and career connections through a trip to CSU Long Beach. We also had them engage in advocacy experiences with Create California, and the community experience came in with Boca de Oro last year in 2020. Shortly after Boca de Oro in 2020, we pivoted to virtual learning, and this experience has also pivoted this year. Our students are still involved in opportunities to engage, connect, and also express opinions, but it's done so through a virtual platform at this time. Through this process, we've been able to get to know our students much more closely than ever before, and we're able to help them cultivate their voice and choice in education. One of the many experiences our students were able to be involved in last year was through our partnership with Create California, a statewide initiative to promote the value and need of arts education throughout the entire state of California. In this video, you will see highlights from our advocacy experience with Create California, and you will also hear directly from our students what that opportunity meant to them and what their thoughts, feelings, and opinions are.
It's important to have art classes at school because some students use art as a creative outlet to help deal with the turmoil that's going on in their life, and some people feel that they can't do art because they've never actually been taught how to do art, and it discourages them. But I feel we should have art classes to make sure every student has the opportunity to get better at their art.
Before I started doing art, my grades would be like really low, to the point where I'd have to go to tutoring and stay home from things till I actually got a grade up, at least by a letter, and they changed so drastically. Now my grades are A's and B's.
Well, my introduction to arts was photography and video. I've spent a lot of time taking pictures and capturing moments. I feel like the best way I can contribute to this cause would be capturing this action of this ability to create. I think it's going to be really important that officials, city officials, and adults as a whole see that the students actually care about what we're doing and don't take this as something that can be removed or subsided for something else.
art isn't optional. It's not just a hobby, it's not just something that you do on the side. It has potential, and if you want to follow that potential, you can do so because school provides the experience.
At this time, it's important to point out that these students are not necessarily the most talented artists in the world. They're not even the most, well experienced, I guess you can say. What we were looking for in this program were students who were passionate about the arts, who were willing to put in the hours, the extra time, all the energy that they need to really promote how important it has been for them and how it continues to be important for all of us in our community. Their voices were honored in that moment, and they continue to be honored through this program, even in a virtual landscape. Right now, I want to share with you one of our amazing artists in this program. Here's Chloe.
Hello, my name is Chloe, and I'm a senior at Saddleback High School, and I'm currently in the IB program.
Very nice. Thank you for being here with us and sharing your work with us. So before we get to showing your artwork, I wanted to ask, how did you get started in art?
For me, I've had always been a creative person as a kid and growing up still, but my love for art started when I realized that the cartoons I was watching came from animators, and that really inspired me to draw from my favorite TV shows and create characters. And as I grew, I started filling these sketchbooks, like I probably have 22 now, and I just love seeing how art came from TV. It was just such an amazement for me. And to me, art is not a hobby, but like a passion.
That's wonderful. And it's funny how people will look at things that they observe, like things that they love, movies and TV shows and stuff, and not think about the process that goes behind it. So it's really interesting that you thought of that from such an early age, and then you grew a passion for that. So what impact would you say the arts has had on your life?
Okay, in my life, art has impacted me to try new things and challenge myself, as I was never born like an artist, I guess. Like I've always struggled and learned, and I always had fun doing it. And art showed me to have a creative outlook on life, but also gave me a voice to inspire and give my vision to the world.
I love that. And it's so true when you look at your work. We're going to take a look at some of your pieces now.
This piece was basically like watercolor. I did the watercolor, and after I put it into an editor, and I edited like this black screen on it, so it kind of looks like it's nighttime and there's glowing orbs. And it was basically a piece like for me to have fun with and to show storytelling in a way. Like I wanted to show how I could storytell. This piece was it was about misintentions. The piece is titled Misintentions because I tried to communicate this relationship between a human and animals. And usually, like for cats specifically, they bring you dead animals to show you their love and their gratitude towards you. But we take it as like, oh, that's gross, like get it away. So there's like this miscommunication. And I decided to kind of twist it in a way where it's like my cat killing a mailman, but it's like she's trying to show me she loves me, but it's just like that miscommunication that could be found in our relationships, like normally and like between animals.
That's so interesting. I think the same thing whenever my dog brings in something from outside. It's like, why are you doing that? But it really does show just, I guess, a different level of the way we interpret things, in our lives and the way animals also kind of interpret their love and their appreciation.
This one is one of my favorite pieces personally. I did it on glass and it's with acrylics, and I wanted to do a side-by-side between the artist and the artwork to kind of show that art is a part of me and my identity. And I've also used like little papers coming out of the artwork, like I used digitally from the left side to kind of show like growing new things coming, and that you have to let go of some things to let new things grow.
So I'm kind of seeing a theme through some of your work. I mean, what inspires you to create?
Usually it's my experiences. Like my motivation comes from like the urge to create something, and for me, it's like a way to express myself, and I think of a concept of like a challenge I had over time, and I realized these feelings, and to overcome them, I communicate them in my artworks, and my artworks are kind of like an outlet of feelings that I've had, and they're kind of unlocked, and like I'm now like realizing them, and I'm overcome them.
Such clarity of purpose.
This artwork is with watercolor, and on the right you could see this little girl. She is crying, and also the symbolism in the cloud and then the drippy corner piece. It's to symbolize her being sad, and then the one on the right is actually her, but like older, and you could see kind of more of like these bright colors. So it's basically you helping your younger self to like for like this one's mostly about body positivity, and she's saying like it's okay, like you should be positive, like I'm here for you. It's you being there for your younger self and telling yourself it's okay, you will overcome these things. So this piece took a long time for me, and it was just a spur of a moment thing, and then it became a big project. Most of these things in my piece are recycled from my trash. So like the top part is well, you could see it's made out of cardboard, and I've used like some old lights I cut off to make as clouds, and then I used tin foil and old plastic cups to make like a little house, and then on like the almost like a horizon line or like the ground, it's from my cat's scratch pole that I used, and like on the bottom you can see there's tin foil, and the bottom it's supposed to be like the core of the earth and underground, and then I also incorporated like digital pieces, like digital like cutouts, just to kind of like integrate this reality, but then not so like reality that we're in. It's basically about how if we could recycle more, or if we could make the world a better place by incorporating some of recycling or doing upcycling, then it will become such a mysterious and wonderful place than it already is. And I just feel that we need to do this, you know? This was after the school closure, and I mostly just had cardboard pieces, and most of my pieces I make are from cardboard because of the school closures and not having access to canvases. So yeah, this is one of the pieces that I actually had to recycle and use what I had.
It's wonderful. I love how you were able to come up with all of that too. And it's great because you get to see art now in non-traditional materials, but it still very much speaks to like the true purpose that artists have, and you can still convey your message regardless of what you have available.
This piece was also in cardboard, which was what we were mentioning, that it's about cardboard and it's about my culture. And you could see I embroidered on the cardboard red thread coming from my forehead out, and it's like almost gonna touch those swirly things on top. And the tree is supposed to represent a family tree, and the red line does not touch the swirly things, like the swirl. It's supposed to represent a fingerprint, and it's not touching the fingerprint on the family tree. And it's kind of to convey my culture, and I want to be a part of my culture and get closer, but I almost feel like I'm not, but I want to be. So it's like almost like this journey I had with my culture, wanting to touch it, but barely not. But I'm still on this journey, you know? Okay, this piece, it was a design that I made for political, because there was the political elections going on, and I decided to create a piece about something that's really important to me, which is pro-woman, pro-choice. And I decided to make this kind of like campaign-esque thing. Like it's a campaign and a logo, and it's a concept, basically, a concept of this, not company, but like this type of I guess campaign, yeah, campaign to get across like, oh, like pro-women, like women should be able to do what they like, they should say what they want to do with their bodies, and no one should limit them. And you know, yeah, women should be able to choose what they want, and society shouldn't be impacting them to make a choice that they don't want to do.
And what did you get from this? You were a winner, weren't you?
Yeah, I actually won a Scholastics Award honorable mention, which I was really surprised about and really happy that this won. I really didn't think it was going to win, but yeah.
See, it just goes to show that you should really just continue to speak your truth and put yourself out there because you just never know what's going to happen, right? And I love that you have such a strong position in your work that you mirror all the way through. So, I mean, where do you see yourself going with this in the future? What's your next step, I guess?
In my future, I plan to get my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Graphic Design and minor in illustration. This is because I find myself creating posters and logos like the previous work very easily. And it's kind of also like a challenge to creatively communicate something. Yeah, to creatively communicate something. And for graphic design, there are so many positions that you could do. And I love having the options to work on so many projects if I wanted to. And after I get the kind of creative experience, I hope to work like to be a self-employed artist and a business because I want to create a business of my artwork and stickers and do art prints, but also like get into other things like jewelry, making jewelry or like pots and stuff like that.
So be all trades,
Yeah.
just creative through and through. That's wonderful. So you've been in this program, Santa Ana Youth Arts Leaders. What has this program meant to you, this experience meant to you?
Okay, Arts Leaders is really important to me since it's basically the first art program I've joined, and it's been giving me a lot of opportunities, like art-related things in my community, and also advocating for the art and why it's important. This for me, I wish I had when I was younger to encourage myself to create and not avoid expressing myself. But now I could advocate for the art and hope for these types of resources to be more apparent for younger kids.
We have young artists that are watching this right now. So, what advice would you give to them besides what you just said about wishing to have this before? What would you give to them now that are watching this and maybe inspiring them in their creative process?
The advice I would give is to keep going, even if nothing is turning out how you expected. It's okay to make mistakes and struggle at times, but I promise you, no one's going to become an artist overnight. And it's going to be a hard start, but as you grow, you're going to be finding it hard to stop creating.
Thank you so much, Chloe. We're so grateful to have you be a part of this program, be one of our youth arts leaders and inspiring the next generation to come after you and for sharing your work today.
Thank you. It was a wonderful experience being here.
Now I'd like to introduce you to Jackie.
Hi, I am a current senior at Santa Ana High School, and my main focus is in film and cinematography. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for being here today and thank you for sharing your work with everyone. So first off, I wanted to ask you, how did you get started in the arts?
I started in elementary, so I went to Henninger Elementary, and I started first in orchestra, so I played the violin, and I still play the violin, but I stayed at Henninger like as a K through 8 student. So when I was in 7th grade, they introduced film to us, and I started as like an editor, but then I just got really into writing and directing and stuff. So I stuck with the program until high school, and yeah, that's how I'm like a film major for college now.
So I wanted to ask you too. I mean, you have an extensive history being in there from Henninger, 7, 8, all the way through high school. So, I mean, what impact has it had on your life? Like what changes have been made since you've been in the arts?
I think it's been like a really drastic impact because like I feel like in elementary you just like you kind of know what you want to do, but like not really because you're like really young still. But having film and like orchestra kind of like let me know ahead of time, like way sooner than like my friends and stuff, what I wanted to do in life. So by the time I was in like 8th grade, probably, I was already like, you know what, I want to get into film. Like, I don't know what like job or like what I want to do exactly in film, but I know I want to do film. So it like kind of like led me down a path that I was like it kind of gave me that path that I needed to know what I wanted to do. And I never really felt lost in that path.
You want to share with us one of your pieces now?
Yeah. I have a like excerpt from my sophomore year. So, sophomore year at Santa Ana High School, when you're going through the film pathway, you do episodic. So you do like a series of episodes for like a TV show. So ours was called La Maldición, and I speak Spanish, but I might have butchered it a little bit. Yeah, that was ours.
In this world, mija. ¿Me oyes? Es puro maldad. You are not safe. The world is filled with monsters. You must go, and you must remain silent.
I noticed that there is a very particular style to that piece. Like you said, it was an episodic. It was a part of, an 8-part, I think, series, correct? So
That was like a
what
4, I think.
4-part? Okay.
Mhm.
My apologies. But no, so what inspired you to create that piece, I guess, or kind of, create that style with the script that you were working with, and what inspires you to create in general?
The inspiration for that piece, I can't entirely take the credit for it. Our director Yasmin, who is a student with me, she's the one that came up with the story. I helped with writing the story, writing the script, allowing the story for like to keep going and for it to be to like connect properly between each episode. I helped a lot with that. But I feel like the story, it like connects kind of back to parents and stuff like that, and like more like of a Latino culture. So it like helped a lot with that. I feel like my culture inspires me a lot, like just like my background. Like I'm not saying like my ethnic background, like not that necessarily, but just like coming from who I come from. My whole family is like just artistic in general. So it's kind of like always just been with me. My next project that I did for my senior year, it was based around frustrations that I have. Like I just deal with like anxiety. So it was kind of like an outlet for that I used for the project. And also I incorporated my friends and how my friends helped me. But you can't see them, but you can see me. So
Oh! I broke the leg.
Okay, sir. Nice hair. Is that? Are the hands supposed to show?
so short.
I'm big. Look at my nose chin shirt. I'm big. Wait up, Wes. My Parkinson's are acting up. Hurry up.
That's it. That's fine.
This one for me was definitely way more experimental, but it also to me it kind of felt like a memoir for my friends because they're just really close friends to me. You can honestly like you can incorporate so much even if it's just like a small project. So yeah.
Totally. And I was definitely getting the same thing too, is more of that abstract quality. There's so much that you can involve and incorporate to give all these little nuances and all these different meanings. So after seeing all of your work and hearing your experiences, where do you see yourself going in the future with this?
My path is still like undecided. I know for a fact that I'm gonna enter university. I'm gonna enter a 4-year and I'm gonna major as being film. But I also really want to double major into education as well because I want to do what my teachers did to me in middle school and high school. I want to bring film into the curriculum more because I really think that it's not like English and math and science. It's definitely not like that, but it's like such like an artistic outlet that I don't think a lot of people experience enough. And like even if you don't want to be on like behind like in front of the camera and stuff like that, there's so much that you can do. I worked in the summer like as an intern for a little bit at Henninger Elementary with what they were doing for film. And it's really cool what kids can do. Some of these kids are like way more artistic than you would think. Like they know what they're doing with their camera and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like it's kind of like a passion to me to be able to bring that more into the community that I grew up around, especially being Santana. Like it's just something that I want to give back a lot to, and but then also I for sure want to work on some films. Like I for sure want to do that, but I feel like my calling is taking me more towards being like an elementary teacher and bringing film into it, because I was grateful enough to have teachers that weren't teaching film when I was there, but they are now. Like uh the teacher that I interned with for a little bit in that summer, she was my 4th grade teacher and she teaches film now as part of her curriculum. So I just think
Wonderful.
it's
It's like
really
all full
cool for
circle, right?
Huh?
I said that's wonderful. It's like all full circle, right?
Yeah, it's full circle. Like
That's an awesome experience that you're able to be involved in, and now it's all going to come full circle for you, and you're going to be enriching a new generation. It's going to be amazing, right?
mhm.
So you've been in this program, Santa Ana Youth Arts Leaders. So what has this meant to you this year?
I feel like it's like leadership. Especially when I was younger, I never saw myself as a leader. I hated talking so much. I was always like the quieter one. Like I was just with my friends and I was just kind of like whatever. It's honestly kind of empowering in a bit, in a way, because it's like you're talking to other students from other schools in the district that you don't know them personally, but you know them because they're doing something really cool with what they're doing. So like there's some of us that they're mostly drawing. There's some of us that are acting. There's some of us that are in film, like me, like some of my friends that are also in the program. I mean, it's just really diverse. It's really cool to be able to collaborate with kids that aren't doing the same thing as you, but we're still all in art. So it's just like, it's really nice. And then it's like, it's not that they're strong artists. It's just that like we all have something different to bring to the table. And it's just nice to be able to like to talk to them and to like collaborate and stuff.
What would you say to anybody who's a promising artist that's watching this segment, that might even be thinking about it, young or old, coming into this practice and maybe enriching themselves through this? What would you offer them as advice?
Honestly, like if you think that you want to do something, just go for it. Like don't hold back. Like I held back for a while because I was just like, you know what? Like it's kind of like, I kind of felt like it wasn't worth it for a while. Don't do that. Like, just go for it. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are because, like, even if you are older, like, maybe you're an adult already, there's so many programs that you can still do. Like, you could reach out to, like, community centers and stuff like that. But also, you could just start doing it on your own. Like, especially as a filmmaker, you do not have to be working with these expensive cameras. You don't need to know what you're doing exactly. As long as you have, like, a vision, you could just go for it. Like you could just grab your phone and be like, you know what, I'm gonna go do this. And then there's like free apps that you could edit on, and then that's how you get your start. But if you're like younger and you know like you want to do something, like tell your parents, tell them so that they could know that what you're thinking, even if your parents maybe aren't as open and stuff like that, they do care about you. So eventually they'll listen to you and they'll be like, you know what, maybe I can't help you exactly, but they will support you and stuff like that. And like if you know there's a program at your school or there's a program at a surrounding school near you that's in your district or something like that, definitely reach out to them, because even if you're not at that school, there's a huge chance that that teacher at the other school will still help you, because bottom line, we're all working together. And it's like teachers want to make the students happy. Like they want to try their best and stuff like that. And like I've collaborated with other schools for film, and it's like we all want to help each other. Like that's the point of it. We don't want to drag each other down. But like just like find what you can do. Like if there's a class you can take, go for it, take the class. If you don't like it, oh well, at least you tried, right? Like at least you tried. And then
You're making me feel better about dropping out of band in middle school and going into visual arts in high school, because
at
it's like
least
you
tried.
dabble.
That's the thing. It's all about like believing in yourself. Like people always say like believe in yourself, believe in yourself. I mean, it kind of does work. Like it doesn't matter if it's film, music, art, dance. It doesn't matter. Like go for it. Like just believe in yourself. That's kind of like that's all we gotta do anymore. So
I love it as life lessons, artistic lessons, all of those lessons. So thank you so much, Jackie, for sharing with us today. And I'm so excited to see what else you do. If you have further questions about Santa Ana Youth Arts Leaders, SAUSD Arts, please reach out to us. You can follow us at SAUSD Arts on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, or you can email us at sausdarts@sausdlearns.net. Thank you for joining us for this session.